Going on, guys? Situation here. Just wanted to make a quick video just recapping the live stream, the dev insight they had earlier today. There were some cool things, but one thing really grabbed my attention, obviously, and I think it grabbed a lot of other people's as well. And that's what I'll be kind of mostly focusing on in this video. But just kind of a little recap is they are investing more into Onslaught, so that seems to be the primary activity other than like the story for the next act. But it's going to be what's called Onslaught Salvation. There's going to be apparently 3 new maps, some new defenses that you can purchase and upgrade, and then new factions added to it, which is nice. There is the overall act exotic weapon that they showcased during it, which is that primary ammo stasis grenade, a breach grenade launcher, like similar to Fighting Lion, so infinite ammo, which is kind of cool. And I wonder if it should tie nicely with like a good stasis build. So I'm looking forward to tinker with that. And it also seems to be a really nice support weapon because there's a bar that fills up. I think it's called Vestige, something like that, some vestige, but it has a bar essentially that fills up when you do damage with it, and when it's at 50%, you can hold the reload and it does that special reload animation. At 50%, it grants a special ammo brick on shot, so it doesn't have to kill anything. It's just you can shoot it at the ground and generate a special ammo brick for your friends. And at 100% full, it will generate a heavy ammo brick. So it's kind of like we have ammo synths at home, but on steroids, because you don't have to like really burn anything. You just can get it pretty. So it sounds like a really nice support weapon. They are going to be bringing Icebreaker back, obviously, like we all know. That we were all kind of wondering how it would work, because in Destiny 1, it just generated ammo just over time. You didn't have to do anything. Well, they tinkered with it, and it sounds kind of cool, because as long as you're getting assists or final blows with other weapons, that it doing that generates ammo for Icebreaker. So you can essentially, if you could use it like a boss rotation, right, you can get some kills with your primary, and then be fully loaded to go into DPS against the boss during like a raid or a dungeon or something like that. So that's kind of cool that they did that. I think that's a really nice touch, and that's probably the best way they could do it without completely breaking the gun and what it's been known for. So I think a lot of people will be happy. Of course, it is the Destiny community, so some people will probably be upset. They kind of touch on the artifacts that you can get for the act, and then obviously we'll get like an extra row each week as we go on. So some of those can be boosted with using the potions that you can create that's tied to the act for the story for that act. Festival of the Lost starts as soon as Act 2 drops, so as soon as Revenant drops. They talk a little bit about Frontiers, about like, you know, what to kind of go into, like look forward to. But the big thing that a lot of us seem to be gravitated towards is the armor. They touched on how they are going to be reworking the armor, because we were wondering how that was going to happen, because they gave us an article last time, and we were wondering how they could make armor relevant again. So it sounds like they are doing that. Obviously, you go and do some research and try to brainstorm some stuff, but the stats that you get, you know, the 1 through 40 or whatever it is, right? That's on the each piece of armor with your mobility, resilience, recovery. Those six different stat levels that you can invest into by RNG, right? Obviously, it is going away from that every 10 points of like your total up to 100 gives you benefit. Everything past 100 no longer gives you any benefit. So they're going away from that, and it's now going to be capped at 200, and basically is going to help like benefit your build if you build over that 100 instead of just being like getting as close, like just getting to 100 or as close to 100, like 101, 102, because if it goes over it, it doesn't do anything. So they're kind of fixing that, so we might be able to get some really high builds, because once you get past that 100 mark, it has additional benefits. So it actually like incentivizes you to create a specific build, like a melee build or a grenade build, instead of like it's just let's get to as close to 100 or to 100, and then what else can we get to 100. So obviously 3 100 stats is pretty much the norm anymore if you've been playing a while. So it will have, like I said, it'll have an additional bonus if you every point past 100, so 101 to 200, it's kind of nice. And then they're also gonna have their own kind of archetypes, so that means that and this is for legendary armor, it'll basically kind of determine which is like the primary and secondary stat type, so what these like certain ones are really good for. So like you should have better spikes in the things that are that, and you shouldn't have really a lot of waste, so that's good. The class slot, so the cloaks, the bonds, and the marks, they will have full stat distributions on par with other slots. So we'll see how that kind of plays in, and then obviously when we get the full, like the actual thing. So the results will be a smaller number of unique stats on any piece of armor with larger contributions to these stats, and every stat point providing a benefit. So that way it'll be a lot easier, because you can see like, oh, I don't need this because it's not going to be good for my melee or my grenade build, so I'm just going to trash it, or I'm going to save it because it's good in other things that I could do a different build for. So should be a little easier for some people that aren't really that like build savvy. Like I'm not the best. I usually have my buddy Ninja or somebody else help me out. The new stats, they have 3 goals in mind for that. They want to improve specific weak stats that offer little value, reduce or eliminate mandatory must-have stats, overall improved understandability of stats and their effects. Like I said, just being able to see that and then be like, okay, this is good for this build, or it's not good for this build. It's obviously under development, but they're giving us like a peek behind the curtain essentially. So here's the things that we can kind of look forward to. One of them is, like, for example, the discipline. From 1 to 100, it just provides an increased cooldown for your grenade like usual, but once you hit 101 up to 200, it provides an increasing chance to gain a bonus grenade charge whenever your grenade becomes available. So you can essentially have, like, for example, like the Titans Armamentarium, the double grenade chest piece, exotic chest piece, you can now have that without having to use an exotic. So it's kind of cool, actually. I'm really excited for this. And they renamed the stat to grenade instead of it being discipline. So very simple, just across the board, super simple. Strength is another example they give. And 1 to 100 provides increased melee cooldown. And then 101 to 200 provides an increasing chance to gain a bonus melee charge when your powered melee becomes available. So 2 for 1 special, right? Kind of cool. And then the stat is being changed to melee. Again, just to make it easier, and just for, obviously, they're gearing this towards the new people coming in, because obviously a lot of us that have been playing it for about the decade that Destiny's been around, we know what it's called, but this will just kind of help the new players, which is really good. So make it a little more friendly. And apparently there's something called special ammo, which is kind of interesting. So it just obviously increases the rate at which special ammos drop from final blows. And then 101 to 200 will give an increased chance in doubling the size of the brick. So if the brick would drop, like, 4 rounds, and now it drops 8. So that's really, really cool, and really looking forward to it, because I like these like little build things that you can really build into and really like show off your like stuff. So it's a step in the right direction. Obviously they'll have to tweak it and make different things happen as time goes on, probably, but and then we get to the part that really caught my attention, because I played a lot of Division and Division 2, and when they talked about this, I was super excited and on board for. So essentially, like, we're gonna have set bonuses. So I was really excited when I heard this. So here's some of them that they have. I'll put on screen also. One's called Tex Mechanica, one's Nonstop Aggression, one's Demolitions Expert, and one's Vanguard. So you can have 2 different kinds. So you can build into different things. So you can have like 2 pieces of one set, and then you can have 2 pieces of another set and have like a really like interesting build going, or you can have 4 pieces of armor that are the same set and have an even like more increased thing that has to do with that. So you can go all in with one set, or you can just mix and match. You don't get any bonuses for 1, 3, or 5. It's only when you hit 2 and 4. So the Tex Mechanica, if you have 2 pieces of armor with that, while shooting from the hip, you have increased movement speed and handling. Effect increases when you score hits. Like they said in the dev insight, you kind of just get to go all in on the yeehaw, right? So just be a cowboy. So, and then if you have 4 pieces of the Tex Mechanica, you have increased range and accuracy when hip firing. So you can kind of close that gap as you're shooting from the hip and just, you know, gun down your opponents. The other set is Nonstop Aggression. 2 pieces of armor will net you final blows with freshly reloaded weapons, heal you, like reload, go into a fight, kill some things, and it heals you. So kind of Devour, I guess, without the reload. You just have to reload before the fight. So we'll see how that works. And if you have 4 pieces of Nonstop Aggression, damaging a target with a shotgun or fusion rifle increases the damage it takes from those weapons for a short time. 4th Horseman is about to go crazy with this. If you do damage with a normal shotgun and then switch over to 4th Horseman when it's like DPS like a boss, and just go crazy with like 4th Horseman, that could be really fun. There's one called Demolitions Expert, which is obviously more grenades. Direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increases their reload speed. Should make, like, if you don't have an auto-loading holster type weapon, this could make it a little bit better to be able to use. And then this is for 4 pieces. Repeated direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increases grenade ability damage. So that'll pair really nicely, obviously, with a grenade build. Something like a warlock that can just spam, you know, the solar grenades just like crazy. That'd be really good. Then there's a Vanguard Operative. 2 pieces and will give you it'll activating your grenade gives you and nearby allies damage resistance against combatants. So that's pretty good. That's a nice little support. Then 4 pieces of Vanguard Operative will, if you defeat champions with a finisher, it generates special ammo for you and your fire team. So you don't have to have special finisher on as like a mod. So that just frees that up so you can use something else. So that's really cool. And then they kind of talk about, you know, with the old armor, they say that the old armor will be changed as little as possible, because the change to the stat mechanics and types are global changes. Old armor pieces will have their stat types but not their values changed around. When possible, these changes will be to the most similar stat, but with some stat being fundamentally reworked, this won't always be possible. So you could still have some of your armor now that works really well. You might not, but they're not promising that it'll be perfect and like a 1-to-1 trade, like, oh, this is my build for this now, it should still work. But there's a chance, but they don't say anything. And they talk about exotic armor. Updating the exotic armor pursuit is on their roadmap, but it won't it won't be a part of the initial update when focusing on the legendary armor. To make sure that exotics and their build defining perks remain a compelling option, we are working on a design that will allow players to update their exotic armor to bring their stat bonuses in line with the changes to legendary armor. The exotic class items that they introduced in the final shape are a special case, even though legendary class items will be gaining full random stats with this update. We don't wish to add additional randomness to the exotic class items. They will instead be providing a method for players to update their existing class items with additional stats of their choosing to bring them in line with the stat contribution of the legendary class item. So you kind of get to pick. That's really good. So they didn't like say, oh, sorry. They're like thinking about the people that have played and gotten a lot of stuff that they really like. So that's really good. They'll obviously will have more to come. And then they talk about the vault space. So what are we supposed to do with all this new armor? Outside of adding more space, real solutions that enable long-term storage of more desirable roles are real hard problems, but those are the problems we're penciling into our roadmap at or around next year's expansion, codenamed Behemoth. Obviously, the armor is super intriguing, and it makes me really, really excited for the future of what's coming. So obviously, I think they'll give us a little, it might be a couple more updates or dev insight videos until we get like the weapon side of things, because they also want to do stuff with weapons, so they'll touch on that later. But this is awesome, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this when it comes out. And like I said, I really enjoyed how Division 2 and Division gave you like set bonuses for having the same type of armor brands essentially on you, and it gave you bonuses. So, and you could get like a nice build and have a really fun build with some of those. So this is fantastic change. Some people won't like it because they're like, oh, I gotta grind again. I really don't care. I cannot wait to grind and get a good set of things and get a sick build going, because it essentially starts us off from scratch and we all get to figure things out again. So that's the fun thing about Destiny, is when people come up with some fun builds that were never thought of, and this gives us an opportunity to do that. So obviously there's people that are already like tinkering and probably already have like a sick build already like lined up, and the video of the dev insight just came out less than 12 hours ago. So this is great. I can't wait. I'm really excited. I have high hopes for Destiny because it's such a fun game, and I think they can pull this off. So if they keep doing stuff like this, then they're on the right track. So thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate it. And just feel free to reach out if you want to play sometime or need some help with something. I'll see what I can do. Alright, dudes, I will catch you guys later. Peace. It's called Art Margaret.